we all are just human. We all have like our reasons for acting a certain way or different motives. And I just hope that that could bring that to the limelight, I suppose. I'm Willow Grey. I played Blake. And I just like a little bit about me. I've also been acting forever. I grew up just being a huge book nerd and always into film production. So I just always knew I'd want to go this route. I moved to LA about 4 years ago, with the saying I was going for USC, but ended up going there and the cliche to pursue acting and everything. And it worked out. This is my first lead in a feature film, which I'm so excited for all of you guys to see and to share with you. And yeah, and to see Blake, who for all intents and purposes is a little dark, very intense. She's a complex character, and I think is more than meets the eye initially, as you'll learn throughout the movie. Um, she struggles a little bit, and without trying to spoil anything too much, she takes that out on right over here. She is a dark character, and that's hard. It was tough material overall because we're having like sensitive information and just like there are difficult circumstances, but I don't think that necessarily made it any harder. I think just like the challenge of it made it even more exciting that I had the opportunity to start off with such a complex, dark individual. I was also going through like a pretty rough time initially, just like outside life going on. And it was really nice being able to play a character in that sense that like lived in that darkness because I was able to translate it really well. And so I had kind of like a funnel of like where to put those feelings in some, even if, and like it was like in this like world that we're living in every single day over and over again. So it wasn't necessarily like even a draining experience always. Like, yes, we would be tired, or yes, we wouldn't always hit out of the park, but I think you get into that like rhythm and just like you pull the negative parts from your own life to translate that into like the emotions of the character, and it helps in a sense. And then you go home and that's like you feel better because you dealt with that by dealing with the character's own emotions. My only family is my mom, and we moved over 20 times throughout my childhood. So it's kind of like a new definition of just like I didn't have anyone, and the only continuity I had place to place was just the fact that like I love stories, I love movies, I love reading because it was my only escape. So using that escape allowed me to basically survive for so many years. And so this character, she's complex. There's also good parts to her. It's not everything can't be taken at face value. I think it's like a huge thing to just like understand about her. They're coming from the same place and they both struggle being women in different ways. And they do fall in love with each other, but it, as Robin was saying, it's not necessarily like about the novelty of them both being women. It's just a love story showing that the general struggles that they go through overall. There are like really sweet moments because you realize that like it's just two women going through and trying to figure it out. There is that like deep understanding. It's like again, that like motif of just like being lonely and wanting to have someone. And you learn what she goes through throughout the movie or what she's been through, and it provides more context into why she is the way she is, which I think is beautiful. And as someone that like while I may not have necessarily turned out exactly the same in a lot of ways, I understand where she's coming from because I've had similar experiences myself. I'd say like day of coming and not and like entirely knowing what to expect or what the process would truly be like from being there every single day and like being in every page of the screenplay. Like again, it's like you want it so much and then you show up and you're like, oh, like this is this is like a lot. But we became really close and like a family very quickly because we're all doing this together. And we said this before, but like it truly was the labor of love and like we were all in it together. So it took out the nervousness, it took out the pressure in a lot of ways because everyone was giving their best and we're like, we're not going to rest until it's the best thing that we could possibly put out there. It makes such a difference having Robin as the director, having a female director, like more specifically, just like across all of her movies, specifically this one, is dealing with a lot of sensitive material that, as she was saying, like comes from being a female, especially in LA. And it's hard. and it's something I think a lot of people could resonate with and not something always really touched on. So yeah, having that, like, we knew each other very well. It was like a very intimate set where just like it felt safe, and it allowed us to not feel like we're trying to like please anyone else over there, and just allowed like Dara and I to do the characters to the best of our abilities, and Robin to do what she does best. It wasn't just like end and casting, like there's open communication throughout like all of filming, and she was amazing with doing that. Like not once did I feel like we couldn't bring up something, or like hey, like how is this going to play out? And in between like Dara and I, it's also a matter of like we respect one another. We also talk through like anything that like we're not sure about or how it'll play out. So it's a lot easier to like really want to like, or be able to commit fully to something that like is darker material when you could trust all the people you're working with. And she just like was direct, like going into it, like we knew what was expected. We knew different scenes and like how it'd play out. So I was thinking, like, I think having that mentality going into it as well, while working with like these amazing women who completely are coming from the same perspective and know what you're doing that day, um, it helps you commit to the bit, as I'd say. I guess that like it's the most like cliche answer, but it's so applicable and true. Just don't judge a book by its cover. Everyone is human, no matter what profession you are, no matter how you come off, no matter what your background is. I mean, you learn throughout this film that like through the first 5 minutes, you make all these assumptions. I mean, rightly so. It's like spoon fed to you, like why, like what they do, how they act to like one another, everything. But you slowly learn throughout the film that it's so much more than that. And we all are just human. We all have like our reasons for acting a certain way or different motives. And I just hope that that could bring that to the limelight, I suppose.